So, good morning, everybody. It's the V Cup, and it's always so nice to see everybody show up. I know it's really interesting, I think, and awesome that everybody makes an effort to show up to the show. And that to me is community. It's community when me and you show up every day. We make we make the effort to create change, and that is what today we're going to talk about. Hi, Tony from the Philippines. Again, I'm doing two cameras, and I apologize. I'm going to fix it so that we can make it so that it's straight ahead. So Trampa isn't doing this craziness here. But head over to YouTube for me, please, so that eventually I'm not going to have to do the two camera thing, and I'm not going to have to keep putting my head in two positions. I don't know if that sounds good or not, but you know what I'm talking about. So, good morning, David. I see you, my friend. Oh, and thank you so much. David ordered some beautiful products from me yesterday. I appreciate that. I appreciate when you guys take the time to support my business, and because my business supports you, and we keep that abundance rolling. And so I have a little bit of good news to tell you today as soon as more people join us. Good morning, Jamie. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. You did, and it's coming to you real soon, my friend. And hi, Matthew. Hi, Connor. Hi, Patrick. Hi, Melissa. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see everybody. Thanks for showing up again today. And hi, hi, Connor. I see you there, Kata. It's Alistair. Hi, you made it over. Right on. Is it really that difficult? I want to know. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Shane. Good morning, everybody. I want to know, is it really that difficult to move over to YouTube? Because, that's important for me to know that. I need to know that. Because if it is, I'm going to figure out why it is. So, drink your coffee because we're going to talk about a couple little things. First off, you know how excited I am because we are. Hi, Saskia. Nice to see you. Good morning to you, too. No, I don't live in New Orleans anymore, Jamie. I haven't lived there in like 15 years or more. Yes, I used to live in New Orleans. I used to live in the French Quarter. And when I lived there, it was the time of Hurricane Katrina. And Hurricane Katrina hit and all hell broke loose. And I'm going to tell you, living in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina changed a lot for me, okay? Sarah says subscribing and turning on notifications. Okay, thank you, Sarah. I will make an effort to let everybody know. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It makes it easier for you to log on to the live YouTube. So please subscribe. I'm going to make sure that people understand that more. Okay, kids. I see you all moving over. You're brilliant. Okay, good morning, Luke. Nice to see you, my friend, and Jerry. And I moved out of New Orleans after Katrina because it was horrible, and that's when I moved to Mexico, and I just moved back to Los Angeles. But Louisiana is beautiful. Louisiana is a beautiful, amazing space, but I don't want to get on that right now because it upsets me. Every time I talk about living in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina, it upsets me to no end. People don't even understand what happened to that state, how we mistreated people to such an extent that I thought we lived in another country. It's the reason why I moved out of the country, because I was disgusted by the way this government handled a catastrophe in our country with our people, and they turned their backs on the people of Louisiana. They turned their backs. Never, never forget that. Our government does not care. They did not care. Many people got killed for a reason that should have never happened in our own country. Okay, people didn't care. I was there in Hurricane Katrina. I was there in Louisiana. I was part of it. I was devastated, and I still am. And I need people to understand, do a little research. Do a little research. We destroyed a culture of people in Louisiana because we didn't fucking care. I was there. I lived in it. I was there during Katrina. I watched how we destroyed people's lives, pushed them out of that state where they never came back. They never came back. Therese says, I love how outspoken you are, Buck. My sister lives in Nolan. Is having a hard time. Yes. Yes. It still is that way because it's the South. Because it's people of color, because it's poor in some parts of that state, And people don't fucking care. And when Hurricane Katrina hit and wiped out a whole group of people, and mostly people of color, nobody fucking helped you guys. It was devastating. They had a master plan, and that master plan was to get the people of color out of there so they could demo all the homes that have been in the lives of people of color since slavery, and they wiped that whole Ninth Ward out. Do you know that? They didn't need to wipe it out. They just did it in order to create land so they could build homes to bring white people in because they didn't want to keep it. Anyway, we have to have a discussion about this because it speaks volumes to the intense racism in this country. And Hurricane Katrina was how many years ago? 15 or more? We haven't fixed anything in this country. And we won't fix anything in our community. We won't fix anything in our country until we start to have the real education and the real conversation. Saskia says the oil refineries need to be held accountable for destroying the bathtub that has been the buffer between the city and the hurricanes. 100%, Saskia. But money. Good morning, Chantal. Nice to see you, Wellesley. Hi, Annette. Hi, Brandon. Good morning, Rachel. That's the key. Money speaks volumes in this country. Money is everything in this country. That's how this country is run. And now we have people who are running our country who basically are corporations. Okay? Corporations run our country, and we've let it happen. I'm not saying that we don't have a lot of opportunities in this country. We just don't, unless we're rich, unless we're white. And it's becoming this much more of an opportunity for any of us to have. Okay, opportunities to create our own businesses, opportunities to just be and be part of the economy of this country. And eventually there'll be none. And it's why I started my business in the cannabis world. It is why I create products, because we need to still have our hands in this. And if at least one or two of us still have it, we can then give the opportunities back to our community. And it's why I continue to encourage you to create. Create, even if you feel like you can't create, even if you feel like no one's going to buy your product, even if you must do it. You must do it, because in order for us to continue to move on, we all have to be part of that. And if you feel like you don't have the opportunity to be a part of it, you do. Hi Alex, you now do have it, but you won't have it in a while. So if you don't stop feeling like you don't have the opportunity, you must stop now. You must feel that you do have the opportunity, because you do have the opportunity. And if you don't take the opportunity, then it's not there anymore. And guess what? It won't be there anymore. It won't be there anymore. They're taking our rights away. Saskia says, people blame the residents for having lived there in the first place. They weren't stupid. No, people have lived in Louisiana in the French Quarter forever. So it has nothing to do with that. I'm going to get on the Louisiana talk on a next one, because we really need to talk about Louisiana as a point of reference to why and how this country is just continually falling apart and being put back into the hands of corporations and money. Okay? That is a really important conversation. But Alex says YouTube won't load. That's weird, and that sucks, and I'm so sorry about that, and I don't know why it does that. I don't understand YouTube. I think I'm going to look at you now. So, today, first we're going to drink some coffee. Okay, drink some coffee, kids. What I want to talk about now is education. Okay, education is the key. It really is the key. And what I mean by education is this. I'm a believer of letting people ask us questions, telling people how we are. There's this idea in our community that education is not my responsibility. I don't understand that. I don't understand that coming out of the mouth of people who want other people to know and learn and not call us names and not tell us that we can't belong to the military and not tell us we can't use the toilet and not tell us that we can't. It's very strange to me. Yeah, why is it freezing? I'll look into the Yeah, you're right. It says my streaming health is not very good, and that's fucking annoying. And I'm wondering why it's doing that. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's either my internet connection or fucking YouTube, and so now I'm getting a little irritated with that. So I want to just get back to the discussion, and the discussion is education. Hi, Becky. Good morning, my friend. Good morning, Jared. We're talking about education in our community. Why is education important? How do we move forward? How do people move forward in the world? They educate. They educate. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. Educate. And what does education mean to you? What does education mean to you? Education means to me this. This is what it means to me. There are so many people in here, the tubes are clogging. It's exactly, I just see it right there. The word ignorance, okay? Ignorance. Where does ignorance come from? Ignorance comes from the fact that you don't understand. That's what ignorance is. Ignorance is because you don't understand. I have ignorance around things because I don't understand. The only way for me to understand is to either take the time to educate myself about it, or listen to somebody who understands it, or just be ignorant and walk the world that way. But that said, we can make sure that people aren't ignorant around our community if we take the time, number one, to educate, number two, to do it with compassion, and to do it with an open heart. You have to educate with an open heart, because if you don't educate with an open heart, people will have what I call a wall. Because what you do is you make people feel this way. Talk to people. I talk to them all the time. How can I make you understand better? And people will tell me, well, actually, Buck, you're easy to talk to, and it's not a difficult thing for me to ask questions. But there are people in our community that I feel very scared to talk to, because every time I do, I get backlash, or I get anger, or you can't educate with anger. You can't. It doesn't work. I do it every day in my life, you guys. I educate. Rachel says that's the problem. People don't take the time to educate themselves. Catherine says, or read a book, or hear a story, or develop empathy through imagination. Andy says, even within our community, there needs to be education. Point in case, many binary individuals don't see gender not as exactly. And here's the key, people. If you're continually getting angry because people don't understand us, are you taking the time? I'm talking to you. Are you taking the time to educate people? And that could be your family. That could be anybody. But there's this goddamn idea in our community where I keep hearing it when I have this discussion, and people say this exact thing to me. It's not my job to educate. What is this? What is this idea that it's not your job to educate? Whose job is it? Is it my job? Is it your job? Is it the other person's job? And why is that so? And why do you feel that it isn't your job to educate? That's the part that, is there anybody who's here in the B Cup right now? Lucas says, hi, Buck. You have any tips for me having recently had top surgery? I do, but we can talk about that later. Just rest, dude. Rest, eat, drink water. That's it. Rest. Rest is the best way for any time that you're out, sick or whatever. Rest. That's it. That's all I'm going to share with you about recovering from top surgery. Rest, dude. That's it. Here's the deal. I want to get back to the education. Who in here, I want to see, is there anybody who believes what I deem as this thing in our community, this sort of prickle in our community, where there's people in our community who say, it's not my job to educate. Hi, Katie. Good morning. Is there anybody? Connor says, trans fatigue is real. I have my moments also, but mostly I want cis people to know we're just people. Well then, Connor, to call it trans fatigue, and I think here's what's going on with you, Connor. You call it trans fatigue because you're tired of telling people that you're trans or what it means to be trans. What do you think I do every day? What do you think people who are exposing themselves every day do, okay? Trans fatigue is going to the negative. Matthew says, education is key. Here in Australia, we are having a problem for same-sex marriage. Even with us doing a postal vote, our government still can say no to it. It's a waste of $21 million. It's everyone's job. Alex says, yes, I believe we are the teachers of our future. And that's with everything. And that's with everything. Flip that idea that you have trans fatigue. Flip it, because you're already putting that in your head. Fatigue is a negative word. Fatigue is a negative word. Fatigue means I'm tired. I don't want to tell people anymore. But here's the deal. If you, my friend, want to have people stop telling you things, or want people to stop being negative, or want people, it is your job. I am going to tell you every single day, and I'm speaking to the people who believe that education is not our job. That is not true. It is your job if you want to see change. Stop putting it off on the other people in the community who do take the time and effort. And if they do take the time and effort, then my friend, you have no space to complain about the way they are educating, including myself. The only thing that you can complain about is the fact that you are not educating. And that, my friend, is a real thing. Okay? Andy says the argument by devil's advocate is that victims shouldn't bear the burden of relieving their pain by explaining themselves over and over. Yes, I agree with that. But those people are the people who are saying this. Buck shouldn't be speaking out because I don't like the way that he is representing the community. Guess what, my friend? If you don't like the way I'm representing the community, then you have to speak out. And you, my friend, the devil's advocate, I'm speaking to you. The victims, okay, the victims of our community need to understand that if they're going to continue to be victims of our community, then they need to sit down over here, okay, and work on themselves. And work on themselves. I am not going to sit around and say that it is okay to be a victim. I am not. I am not going to pat you on the back. I'm going to say, yeah, you have trigger warnings. Yeah, you have PTSD. How can I help you? And how can our community help you to push you up? How can we do that? Okay, if you don't feel powerful enough to get up and out and speak your voice, that's okay. There are many of us who will do it for you. But you then have now lost your right to say that people who are out there educating and speaking on possibly your behalf are not doing it right. You cannot have both ways. That's the key. And that, my friend, the devil's advocate, is what I'm talking about. Catherine says, it's always our job to educate for us and on others' issues. Have the conversation and self-care through solidarity. Matthew says, I get sick of explaining at time how I'm a hetero leather bear, but I'm also who I am, and I'd rather educate than allow ignorance. And that's the key. You can't have both ways. If we don't educate, we're going to have ignorance, we're going to have hate, we're going to have people who don't want to talk to us, and that's the key. So you can choose not to educate, but then when you choose not to educate, remember this. People aren't going to understand us, and people are going to be angry at us, and people are going to come after us. So there's two streets to education, my friends. There's two streets. You get tired of educating, then you get tired of changing the world. And that's the thing. So be tired, go sit down, but understand there's other people who are going to use their voice to create change. Whether or not you like it or not, we're going to do it. And if you don't like the way we're educating, then come back up and educate the way you see fit. But there's this idea that we all have to educate a very specific way. And then when we do educate, we aren't speaking for the community. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the ego that has come in our community, because all of that comes from ego, my friends. All of it. You don't speak for me. Connor says, education is our job because cis people don't know what's going on and it's important. Not just cis people, Connor. Not just cis people. Transgender people don't know what's going on, okay? Transgender people, non-binary people don't know what's going on. It's not just cis people. And this is what we've come down to. We've come down to separating ourselves from cisgender people to transgender people. What is that? And honestly, I'm going to tell you. I don't really even know why all of a sudden we have to name other people and we've given labels to other people. I always feel like the cisgender word came out of a negative place. It came out of a place like this to me. This is only my opinion. If they're going to name us transgender people, we're going to call them cisgender people. That's to me where it came from. It didn't come from a loving space. It didn't come from a space of how can we become groups, communities, but come together. That's not where the cisgender word came from for me. It came from like a name-calling space. That if you're going to call us this, and now it's become sort of us against them. What kind of mentality is that? What kind of mentality is it when we continue to teach our younger generation us against them? It isn't us against them. This is such a bad, horrible way for us to start off in the world, us against them. It isn't us against them. What do we as transgender people want? I'll speak for myself right now. What is it that I want? What I want is just to be a person. I want to be able to walk the world. I want to be able to get a job. I want to be able to dress the way I want to dress. I don't want to have people point fingers at me. I don't want to be the guy over there with the vagina. I don't want to be any of that. I just want to be able to be me. And guess what? I am. Every single fucking day I walk the world as me. Why? Because I have built me with no regrets, I do not feel that I need to in any way conform to anything. And if you don't like it, I don't really give a shit. And that's how I walk the world. I've been very lucky to be able to gain this idea of myself and hopefully to share how to get that. But want to know how I become this? Because I educate every single day. Every single day when I walk out my front door, I say, I'm going to have to educate somebody. Somebody's going to ask me questions about my body. Somebody's going to look at me weird. And I'm going to be like this. Yeah, I'm transsexual. Yeah, I'm Buck Angel. Yeah. People say it to me all the time. Are you Buck Angel? Well, they say it to me all the time. And so what? That's an opening and an opportunity for me to say and every day. And that, my friends, is my responsibility because I took it on. If you don't want to have that responsibility, it's okay. But you must understand what I'm saying to you. It's okay, but you cannot speak badly about the people who do choose to educate. Okay? Carrie says, I agree. It's just a further labeling and separation. Cis and trans. Okay? Buck, Tori says, Buck, when I first heard cis, it absolutely was said in a very negative manner. You don't get it because you are just a damn cis. That's the lingo that's happening in our community. That's the lingo. The cisgender people against the trans. Fuck you. You know that most of my friends, in fact, I would say 90% of the people in my life are cisgender, who are the most amazing people, who have actually are the ones who have helped me get to where I am today, are the people who love me, are the people who care about me, are the people who help me create my products, are the people who really understand how important our products for who helped me make the tea lube. Who helped me make the tea lube? A cisgender man. A cisgender man put up all the money, put all the product. A cisgender man. So stop it. Stop feeling if you are being brainwashed by our community that cisgender people are the devil or the people who are keeping us down, you have been truly misinformed, my friends, because it is not true. And in fact, I'm going to tell you something right now that might hurt your feelings. That might hurt your feelings. Are you ready? Drink a little bit of your coffee. I'm going to tell you something that's going to hurt your feelings. Here it comes. Are you ready? Transgender people hurt transgender people more than cisgender people ever do. Yes, I said it, and it's real. I see it every day. I see more transgender people speak down, bully, angry, mean to transgender people more than any cisgender people do it. In our community, we tear each other apart. We say things that are so mean. We create people to go down deep, create people to commit suicide. It happens. I see it. And if you disagree with me, you show me where I want to see, where you can show me and show me that I'm wrong, because I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. The reason I sit here, the people in our room, the people that show up to the B Cup, I will almost guarantee you are more than half cisgender. And why are they almost half cisgender? Because they want to fucking learn. And I seem to be one of the only guys who want to speak to the cisgender people. Why? Why are we alienating ourselves from a community that all they fucking want is to help us, to speak to us, to get informed by us, to be able to ask questions, Buck, I'm sorry if this is a disrespectful question. I get it every day. I don't want you to say that to me. No, Charlie, you're not late, my friend. Don't say that. I don't want you to say, I hope this isn't a disrespectful, because I don't think anything you ask me is disrespectful. Even when you say things like, I really want to have sex with you. That doesn't make me feel disrespected. It makes me feel like you're attracted to me, and that's awesome. This idea that to be attracted to a transgender person is fetishizing them is so disgusting. And it came from a part of our community that desexualizes ourselves. Desexualization of a whole community is goddamn irritating to me, because I've spent so much fucking time creating a space for us to be sexual. I create sex products in order for us to regain our own love for our own selves. I create sex products every day in order for us to regain the fact that, yes, we are sexual beings. Yes, we love to have sex. Yes, you can have sex with me because you find me attractive. And that isn't disrespectful. And it isn't fetishizing. So are you saying when you find a person of color or a gay person or a person that might have some type of disability, is that, if you're attracted to them, is that fetishizing them? No, it isn't. And if you're thinking that's true, then you're fucking brainwashed. Because you can think that a person of color is beautiful just because they're beautiful, and it has nothing to do with fetishizing them. It's the same with transgender people. To say that you have a sexual attraction to a transgender person is fetishizing them is fucked up. And do you know that people say that my porn work is fetishizing trans people? I am so appalled at our community at times. It makes me bash the table. Why would we want to desexualize ourselves? Why? Why? Sex is positive. Sex creates such a beautiful space in your own body that you love yourself, that you want to show the world, that you want to have sex with other people, that you want to have sex with a transgender person. Isn't a wrong thing. And we're giving a mixed message out there. We are giving a mixed message, and that mixed message is this: love us, be with us, be part of us, but don't fetishize us. If you find us attractive, you're fetishizing us, and that's not good. How do you think that makes people feel? They're like, should I be attracted to you? Should I want to have sex with you? I'm too scared to even talk to you because I might get my ass fucking beat down because I might be fetishizing you. I'm totally confused. Really, people? That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. We are giving so many goddamn mixed messages. It's ridiculous. We're ridiculous. We're embarrassing and ridiculous. Grow the fuck up, community. Grow the fuck up, community. Stop acting like a bunch of little fucking babies who don't know how to walk, who don't know how to talk. And if you don't, and you're new, and you do have a lot of fucking triggers and a lot of PTSD, which is real, and we are very, very compassionate about that, Let us help you to move through that. The only way you will move through it is to understand why you have a trigger and why you have a PTSD and why things are not comfortable for you. But don't you want to move through that? Why do you want to live in a world where people look at us as if we're a bunch of crazy nuts? Why do you want to live in a world where you can't walk through the door? Why do you want to live in a world where you believe that we don't have to educate in order to move forward? You tell me any community that has never had to educate outside of their community. Example, gay men. Gay men have been on the forefront of fighting for the right to be gay forever, as well as gay women. But I just thought of that example right now, right? And that's why we are here today with many rights, because they didn't shut the fuck up and they didn't fucking care what you thought about them and they just moved forward. And now we have gay rights because they took the time to fucking educate, and they take the time to educate about HIV and AIDS within the community so that it doesn't get stigmatized as a gay disease. Jamie says, I can only be me when I'm alone, even though I have a husband and I'm a homosexual relationship. I'm an entertainer when I'm at home alone. I'm a real woman. Whatever works for you. There is no right or wrong way to be a transgender or a person. It's not I'm a transgender. It's I'm a person. I'm a person. If you want to label yourself as a transgender, go ahead and do it. But understand really, what does that mean? When you take the term on and that is your identity, what does that really mean? I think, honestly, when you pigeonhole yourself within just this idea that you are a transgender person and that's all you are, I think you've actually cut yourself short. And you've really not understood what it means about being who you are. Because just being a transgender person isn't just that. You have many other facets of you. You have so many facets of you. And to just put yourself in this one space, you are eliminating so much more about who you are. And then you become this person who is being told from the other people in our community, you're only transgender if you do this, this, and this. So no wonder we're getting depressed in our community. No wonder we're so lost, because we're being told that you can only be this one way, and if you identify as transgender, it means this. What? Get out of this idea that you're only trans. I do not. I have to tell you, I do. If you know me, you know this. I do not identify as a trans person. I do not identify as transgender. My history is transsexual. Today, now, if you were to ask me, Buck, how do you identify? This is what I say. I identify as a man. I identify as a man who has a vagina. And I identify as bisexual, as my sexuality. So I'm a bisexual man with a vagina. That's how I identify. And it took me out of the box. It took me out of the box of identification of I'm a transgender person. I'm not a transgender person. I'm a transsexual person. You don't have to just have this one identification because everyone else is telling you that. Do you not understand what I'm saying to you? The reason people in our community are telling you that you have to identify this way is in order to control you, to tell you, if you're not this way, you're not trans. There is no way. There is no way. Listen to me. If there's one thing you take from me, if there's one thing you take from me today when I leave, which is very soon, it's this. There is no one way to identify. There is no way to be. There is only way to be how you want to be. If I want to wear my baseball cap every day and walk around with no underwear, I can do it. If I want to walk through that door today and say, I'm a man with a vagina, but tomorrow I want to walk through that door and say I'm a tranny, I can do it because it's up to me. It's not up to you to make my identification. It is up to you, even if you are cisgender, to take that terminology on or not take it on. If people call you cisgender and you don't like it, you have every right to say, please don't use that term. I'm not comfortable with it. It does not identify who I am, and I'm just a person. Please, cisgender community, start to do that. If you do not like the word cisgender, which has been appointed to you by a community who chose to do it without even asking you if it's okay, without even asking you cisgender people, is it okay that we label you when we don't fucking like to be labeled, yet we turned around and fucking labeled you without your consent. Consent is everything. So if I was you, and if I was a cisgender person, and I didn't like to be called cisgender, I would say to anyone who calls me cisgender, please don't use that terminology. I don't like it. I don't like it. And you must respect my thoughts, and you must respect what I want to be. If you want to be respected, you have to give the same goddamn back. Thank you. Thank you, Alex. I can't breathe when I get passionate. I'm a very passionate person. I'm a very passionate person, and it's something that I can't hide. And I know I get a little bit crazy, and I apologize if I feel very intense early morning, but it's the way I start my day, and it's the way I believe to educate. With my passion and my anger, sometimes I get angry because I want you to hear me. I want you to hear me, and sometimes I believe by being like that, wake up. Wake up. You've been woke because you're here, and I believe that. You're here because you can hear me. You can hear me. Just always walk away hearing me. Don't take everything from me, because everything I say won't necessarily relate to you. But take the things you need to take from me. Take the things you need to take from me. Hear me. Hear me. Please hear me. You cannot expect people to understand you until you understand yourself. And you cannot tell people how to be. That is not okay. You cannot say, cisgender people just need to get over it. We label them. That's how it is. Either they like it or not. No, because then you have to understand they're going to say the same thing to us. Don't you understand how it works? That's how life works. You cannot put your own fucking shit on other people and expect them to have that when you don't respect the same thing back. That's called respect. You understand what I'm saying? So, my friends, I love you all, and I know you understand my passion, and I know you understand why I get crazy, and I cry sometimes, and I bang the table, because we need to wake up, and we need to stop this angry attitude towards the rest of the world, that they're all against us. They are not against us. People are not against us. We are, in a sense, against ourselves. When we don't take the time to understand, compassionately educate through humor, take the time, we will get nowhere. And I believe it's our own community keeping us down. It is not cisgender people. It is not the rest of the world. It is our own. And it is something that you must understand in life. You have to take responsibility for your fucking self. You have to. It is nobody else's fault when you can't walk through that door. If you don't take the time to create the space in your own mind and your own body every day, then no, you won't be happy. And no, you won't walk through the world. And no, it isn't anybody else's fault. There are people out there waiting to help you. There are people like us in the B Cup who want to see you functioning. So stop letting people tell you that you're never going to be anything, because all you have to do is say trigger warning every time you walk through the door and everything is going to be okay. Guess what? It's not true. And in fact, it's going to make your life worse. Trampall loves you, and he's telling you this, and it might be hard for you to hear it, but it's real. I'm telling you this out of love for you. Yes, you have PTSD. Yes, you have triggers. Yes, you have anxiety. Yes, you have all the things that are keeping you down. But you don't have to live with it. It's a real thing. Take the time to understand why. Start to work on yourself. That means therapy. That means talking to professional people. That means understanding maybe you need a little medication, whatever that is. That means understanding that unless you learn to walk on your own 2 feet without a crutch of a community that continues to tell you you're okay with your triggers, you will never be. You will never be me, who walks the world free of all of that bullshit. Because every day I work on my own self. and I don't listen to the rhetoric of this community, because the rhetoric of this community is only going to hold you back. And until you take responsibility for you, and until you decide to ask for help, and if that's me, reach out to me, my friend. I will find this place to take you. I know many, many people. I'm connected to many, many spaces. I will help you. But unless you reach out, you will continue to wallow in that horrible space of not learning how to be yourself. And that is true. Okay, my friends, I love you a lot. I gotta go. Oh, this is what I want to tell you before I go. I almost forgot. So today at 1 p.m., maybe a little bit later, I'll be on the Jason Ellis Show on Sirius XM, 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and it's gonna be crazy because, you know, he's a cisgender guy. He's a straight cisgender guy. If you don't know who he is, do a little research. It's gonna get hardcore, but you know I live for that shit. Now I get to go. Guess what I get to do today? I get to go on a cisgender man show, and I get to talk to men, cisgender men, about me and about us being who we are. And guess what? It's serious. Just Google Jason Ellis. Listen, I get to speak to men who don't necessarily understand us, who don't get us. And guess what? I get to educate today. And I get to come back from that show and tell you exactly what happened tomorrow when I spoke to a bunch of cisgender dudes who possibly some don't particularly care for us. And watch what happens when I go on that show and I come off that show. You watch. Because I'm going to take the opportunity to educate for us today. And I'm going to take the opportunity to tell the world, yeah, motherfuckers, we're here. Love us or don't love us, but get out of our way. Because you have the opportunity to be part of our community and we have to be part of yours. And the only way to move forward in this world is to educate. I'm going to say it again. Educate. Take the time to educate today. Before I leave, I'm going to tell you one more thing. No, I'm going to tell you tomorrow because it's really great news and I feel like I'm going to rush it right now. Bye, guys. Do it. I'm leaving you Facebook right now and I'm going to leave YouTube in a minute. I love you guys. Go and do your work. It is your work to educate. Take it on. And if you don't want to take it on, sit down. But you have no right to tell other people they're not educating right. Okay? Got it? Good. Get it? I love you. That's real. That's real. It is not your place. If you don't want to educate, don't. But sit down, my friend. Sit down, my friend. You don't have the voice anymore. When you choose not to educate, you've chosen to sit down. And that's all I'm going to say to you. Stop telling the people in our community who are taking the time, Caitlyn Jenner, I don't give a shit if you like her or not. I don't care. I don't dislike Caitlyn. And in a sense, I don't know her. I'm not friends with her. But all I know is that woman takes the time and energy to stand up in front of people who fucking make fun of her every goddamn day. Do you think it's easy? Do you think that she needs to do that? No, she doesn't. She could sit over there in her gigantic, huge mansion and not say a word to anybody. But God damn it, stop disrespecting her. Stop it. I don't care if you don't like what's coming out of her mouth. If you don't like what's coming out of her mouth, then you say something publicly. But stop shaming the people who have the fucking energy to get up and speak their minds in a fucking wall of hate. You don't think Caitlyn deals with a wall of hate every day? The shit people say about her, just read comments. And you, my friend, as part of our community, being part of that hate, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you for hating anyone. Shame on you. The only person you should be hating right now is the person who is running our country. That I'll give you a pass on. But other than that, don't fucking hate people. Just because you don't like what's coming out of their mouth or they're not representing you. If you don't fucking like the way people are representing, get your fucking ass up and represent yourself. But stop telling people in our community that they're not worthy, they're not good, Buck Angel is this, Buck Angel is that. Fuck you. Stop spreading lies and hate about people in our community. And that, my friend, is what I'm going to close with. Stop it. Just stop it. Grow up. Grow up, people. Grow up. Sit up. Be proud of yourself and stop being a victim. And get going. Because if you don't get going, we're not going to do this shit. And I'm not going to baby step around you people anymore because I'm sick and tired of it. I've done this for 17 fucking years and I ain't going nowhere. But to sit there and spread lies and hate and be shitty about people in our community is disgusting behavior. Get your shit together and grow up, community. Grow up. You people are totally insane and you've lost it. You've lost it. The anger and hate that you push against us, we're not taking it anymore. We're not taking it. We're taking our community back, whether you like it or not. So either join with us or sit down or go back in the closet because that's not what we're going to do. Because we're about to teeter. We have this right now. And I'm not going back there. I'm not. I fought too hard. Represent, my friends, because that's how we're going to do it. I love you guys. I went on a little rant, but I got to close now. I love you guys. And here we go.